It wasn't supposed to happen this way. How could the Schlieffen plan fail? A primitive version of it worked for Moltke the Elder a generation ago. Every railroad car, load of infantrymen, artillery pieces, and munitions had been planned meticulously. True, the warning against waging a land war in Asia had been ignored, but all the data scientists and statisticians said that the Russians needed 40 days to mobilize. They crossed the East Prussian frontier in 10 days. The only thing that saved the Reich from total collapse was that the Tsar had also neglected to consider that sending an army into a German forest with its flanks exposed was equally ill-advised, a lesson first learned by Caesar Augustus. The situation could have been salvaged, but then Italy, a core constituency of the Triple Alliance, defected to the Entente powers, dissolving the Alpine firewall. Moltke the Younger has now been sacked, right? You should have played Falkenhayn by now. It's going to be a 4-year journey to the other side, and there are darker things than the Battle of the Frontiers and the Battle of the Marne before this is over. First, I'll go over the strategic and operational goals for the Central Powers during the limited war phase. Then I will review card play and deck management strategies that will set the stage for total war. Of highest importance is getting to War Status 11 and access to the Total War deck ASAP. This should take no longer than 3 turns if proper deck management had been utilized during mobilization. If you fail to play your War Status cards as events, the Allied powers will be able to linger in the limited war phase, allowing them time to play all of their reinforcements and to play the 5 Ops Italy and Romania cards for their operations value. 2. Preempt the Allied powers as they attempt to distract you from the western and eastern fronts. As soon as the entry of Bulgaria provides a direct SR path to the Near East, SR at least 1 2-factor combat corps to the Near East, even if the Allied powers haven't done anything there yet. Be prepared to eviscerate Italy at the moment of their betrayal. A robust offensive consisting of 3 Austrian armies will force the Allied player to play high-value cards for replacements and divert a British army to prevent their loss of 6 victory points. Card play. Given that the number 1 priority is getting to total war, I will review each of the war status cards and discuss the other 14 limited war cards as they relate to war status. Even though Bulgaria is a 5 Ops card, it should be played as an event on its first appearance. While the 2 war status points are invaluable, Bulgaria's core with a combat factor of 2 can augment Turkey's weak forces, making the Near East competitive. Play of Bulgaria on the first action round also prevents the Allied player from playing either Italy or Romania as events. Unless they can hold the card for the next turn, it could disrupt their deck management strategy. Not a bad thing. The other 5 Ops card is Walter Rathenau. While play of this card provides 2 war status points and 1 free German replacement every turn, until the Allied player plays Independent Air Force, that is, exiling a 5 Ops card is a tough decision. This decision comes down to when the card appears. If it is early in limited war, then it should definitely be played. Later on, especially if War Status 11 can be achieved by playing other War Status cards, Walter Rathenau should be recycled until the Central Powers chooses to end the game, on their terms. Just as in real life, it generally takes more than 1 round to put a bear down, and the Russian bear is no exception. Tsarist Russia needs a full chamber of 6 rounds to enact the misery of communism, and the Tsar takes command is the first of 4 rounds that the Central Powers can shoot. The Russians play roulette with the other 2. Don't pass up an opportunity to play the Tsar takes command if the Allied powers have been distracted on other fronts and have allowed you to grab 3 Russian victory point locations. Similar to Churchill with Gallipoli, Falkenhayn viewed human resources as assets to be expended, for the nation's greater good, of course, and place of execution is his baby. As a combat card, you have to play something else or perform a 1-ops action to play this event. As an alternative, play Matahari. Get a look at the allied hand and use one of the operations to attack and the other to entrench, giving your fortified machine guns something to do. If the allied player hand is sufficiently suckish, feel free to add some chlorine gas, flamethrowers, or attack Belfort with your Alpencore. That way you'll have a +3, increasing your probability of a victory and the ability to reuse the card on a subsequent round that turn. Be careful with repeating Falkenhayn's mistake. Don't let a first round victory draw you into a turn of fruitless attrition. The War in Africa event should be played on its first appearance. As a 3-ops card, there is little benefit to recycle it, and the reduction of 1 British corps is a small but nice bonus to the war status point. Which brings me to the 2 combat cards that apply to Turkey, Liman von Sanders and Kemel. Combat cards at first glance appear nearly useless. However, every +1 represents a column shift on the Army or Corps fire table. The Kemel card prevents a shift from the Corps fire table to the Army fire table. Frequently, Kemel is more powerful unplayed, especially if there is a Bulgarian and/or German corps stacked with the Turkish units. Like Race to the Sea, there frequently are better things to do than to play Libyan Revolt. If you get a chance to play it, move it to Alexandria for the victory point. The British will have to spend 1 ops to retake Alexandria and eliminate the Senussi Corps. The 6th war status card is a Zeppelin Raids event. The German attempt to bring total war to the British people. Ideally, its play would be paired with a British mandatory offensive, and after the Allied player played a replacement card. But if you need the war status, play it anyway, and don't take it personally if it doesn't cause a loss in the British will to fight. The failure to break a civilian population with total war would remain an unlearned lesson painted in black and white, color, and finally high definition to this day. The reinforcements events should be played as they appear. Enough said. The 2-ops 11th Army is a weaker version of the Zoot Army. Play it to get out of your deck. Unless you are on the verge of victory or defeat, recycle the 4-ops High Seas fleet. It can sortie in the final turn. As the bombs refuse to fade away, the world lurches into total war and gets a taste of the long emergency.